Facebook's decision has some people asking if it's now time to reconsider how social media is governed and regulated. Less meme factory, maybe more essential service. For more on that, let's bring in Jeff Lax. He's a law professor at the City University of New York and wrote the article, "The Time Has Come, Why Social Media Platforms Are Common Carriers." Jeff, thanks for being here again. So just in, let's say, 1 minute, make the strongest case you can for regulating Facebook and Twitter the same as you would a phone company.
Yeah, that's the classic example is the phone companies, UPS, the mail system. Those companies all have access, special privileges to access public space in a way that an individual does not have, and government lands. And because of that special privilege, we have extra requirements on them. So even though a lot of people are calling this a free speech issue, it's really more that we're giving these companies access to public space and government lands. And in the case of the internet, that's the ultimate public space, right? The access to the internet superhighway. So in exchange for that privilege, we have extra requirements on them that they can't discriminate against anybody, really for any reason. That if you can pay for the service, you get whatever level you pay for. In the case of mailing a letter, obviously the post office, UPS, doesn't look at what you write in there. A subway doesn't care how you treat your friends or your family, and they're not allowed to. It's not supposed to be part of the equation. So the theory is, and I think this is the rationale behind it, the same thing with the internet, that end users who send out messages on the internet, those messages shouldn't be scrutinized because what these social media companies are doing, according to the argument, is really just regulating access to the ultimate public space, which is the internet.
The difference might be choice, though, right? I mean, the gas company is the gas company. They own the line that comes into your house. If you want it, you got to use them. Facebook might be very, very popular in some countries more than others, but there are still options. You can use something else to communicate.
Yeah, that's true with the mail, too. You can go to UPS, you can go to the post office, but it's because of that special access. There's really only a few companies, right, and entities that have access to do these things, to deliver. Sure, you can go to UPS, sure, you can go to FedEx, but there's still that requirement on those entities to give special, equal treatment to everybody because we give them that special access.
I'm struggling with that a bit because, other companies online, they are picking and choosing who they do business with. If I want to put something on, let's say, Etsy, they have access to the public space. They're picking and choosing who they sell to, who they sell from. I mean, this could go really far that everyone at some point could be under this shroud of common carrier.
That's a great question. And the answer is that the Communications Act regulates what kind of internet companies can be subjected to common carrier status. And actually, there was a very interesting decision in the D.C. Circuit Court in 2014 that basically clarified what kind of companies can be common carriers online. And the answer to the question, and I'm just going to sum it up, is basically companies that don't offer premium services that are offered really primarily to end users. So, an end user, when he wants to send a message or she wants to send a message online, there are not that many choices. You can buy from Etsy, you can buy from a million different companies online, but to send a message, you really only have a couple of options. And the primary legal position on this by the courts and also by the FCC over its history has been that when a service is very basic, in other words, you're just trying to communicate something, that tends to be more of what a common carrier does. Just like the post office, their main job is to send messages. The same thing when you write something on Twitter or Facebook, what you're really just trying to do is get a message across to your friends or family or whoever it is. So when it's a very basic service, that tends to be more common carrier regulated.
Jeff Lax, law professor at the City University of New York. Jeff, thanks so much.
Thank you, Chance.